Stop slouching.
Yo.
Select it.
There's pressure that comes with the block. You could end up inside of a box when you get your knockers by op. After getting set up by a bot. Opportunity, it doesn't knock. Yo, that sound right there be the cops. Yo. And all of that stress that we talking still beats punching the clock. You think I want to sweep your floor from 8 to 4? Fuck, I want to take your orders for. When your favorite star got an Audemars that's worth more than mama's car. Type of shit make you want to say fuck the law. When your rent's due, when your kids poor, nigga, we don't even own our own corner store. So call the waters, cause a quarter more, huh? We want to be an entrepreneur. We want sign checks. We want work for ourselves. We want own the nets. You're too much of a threat when you're on your own assets. So the only thing that shows is how to be an outlet. So we won't connect and say hi like hola. Listen to Hova, whip up a rover. Been watching Power, Tommy and Ghost, bruh. So I need some powder, fish scale and soda for 99 cents. Gotta repent, gotta pay rent, so there's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense. So there's only 99 cents. Gotta repent, gotta pay rent, so there's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense. Yeah, the money is the motive. Repeat my history, crack cocaine is like the motif. It's plain and simple, way back when my mother hustled. It's in my blood, so I feel like it's time to grind, just like the times when niggas died. Hold up, back then was the bad days. Motherfuckers push me that way. I was a crack baby. Tell me nothing about my mother and the struggle. See, I love it in the focus, trying to struggle. She hustle, selling everything in the house, goddamn. She ain't give a damn about the spouse, goddamn. So my other brother had to man up, had to take care of us in the piece with 4 kids. So I'm on the way with no flip, no food in the fridge, on some cold shit. Got food stamps from the neighbors. Sour thing, no pages. Late night, he was shot both days. Couple brands to me, some mayo. Kool-Aid had about 4 flavors. And once I went to cash out, I could lash up. Told me to take food stamps. $15 for that kid. Fuck for that shit. Then the young nigga noticed that he could be the coldest. Take back what they noticed. Whole world on the shoulders. No food in the kitchen but the stove work. $10 in the sack and he pointed to the back. Say, I let me get that Sony. 99 cents. Hard to repent, when you gotta pay rent, making so there's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense. Making so there's only 99 cents. Hard to repent, when you gotta pay rent, making so there's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, Lord, make it make sense. So let me get this shit straight. So I gotta go take out loans to go to school, to get a job, just to pay for the loans I took out in the first place. I'm looking at this arm and hammer like I should have a hammer in my arm right goddamn now. Shit ain't make no sense. Lord, make it make sense. Goddamn. Making so there's only 99 cents. And it's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Making so there's only 99 cents. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. There's only 99 cents. Oh, man. You gotta pay rent. There's only 99 cents. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Give me your picture. Why you take a picture of yourself? Give me your picture.
I did.
That's unbrotherly.
It was a bit.
That's unbrotherly.
You was in it.
That's unbrotherly, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clap it up.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Clap it up. Right. We are back. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatham to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Lathan Ba Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of the Bible since 1969. Right? And the truth of the Bible is the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites, right? You are the Israelites that the Bible speak about, and you must come back to God's laws and stop celebrating and worshiping these pagan holidays, man.
Right.
Stop worshiping Halloween, because Halloween is coming up soon. Stop worshiping Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, what's the 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Valentine's Day. You gotta stop your birthdays. You have to stop worshiping these holidays
That's
and,
right.
and making these holidays more than what they are. You're not supposed to be celebrating these holidays at all, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You know what I mean? Because the Lord gave you a heritage, or gave you something to the Lord gave you something to keep as for your culture, right? Because that's your culture. The Bible is your culture. The law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible is your culture. Give me that in Ecclesiasticus 17 and 11. That's your heritage, Black man. That's your culture. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be doing Halloween. You're not supposed to be doing Thanksgiving. You're not supposed to be doing Easter and Christmas and all these wicked pagan holidays. We celebrate these holidays, and we don't even know what these holidays really represent. We don't even do the history of these pagan worship days, but we do these days though.
That's right.
I can tell you that we do these days, but we don't know what they represent. You know what I mean? You could be celebrating anything out there, right? But we do what our oppressors tell us to do, and it's about time we stop doing that thing there. It's about time we start acting like free men and quit acting like slaves, man. Acting like servants, man. You are the greatest thing on this planet, and we supposed to be separate from everything else. So we're not supposed to do what everybody else does. If everybody else is doing Halloween, we're not supposed to do it. We're supposed to be totally separate. Go ahead, give me that.
Con. We're looking at Ecclesiasticus Chapter 17, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Besides this, he gave them knowledge.
He gave what?
He gave them knowledge.
What kind of knowledge? Hold that. Give me Hosea 4 and 6.
Con.
I'm already going off, but it's on topic, but it's off my list of scriptures that I got for class. But whatever.
Hosea 4 and 6. Right?
Hosea 4 and 6.
Con. Hosea Chapter 4 and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
It says his people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. His people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the children of Israel, are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right?
That's right.
So the children of Israel are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? So when it says when it says his people, it's talking about the children of Israel, and Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are the children of Israel, and you're destroyed for lack of knowledge. What's that knowledge? Knowledge of self, man. The knowledge of those laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave you. You are destroyed for it because you don't have that knowledge anymore to know what to celebrate, what not to celebrate, what to eat, what not to eat. Right? Who to sleep with, who not to sleep with. Mm-hmm. We don't have that knowledge anymore because we are destroyed, man. Right? Because the oppressor destroys us, man, because we think it's okay to live as a second class citizen rather than the ruler of the planet, man. You'd rather live second class citizen or equal than better and on top of everybody. That's the problem. Keep going, Art.
Con. Because, Salakia, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Because what?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Because when I.S.U.P.K. and under Commander General Hunter, right? When we come out here, when we come on class, when we go out on the streets and we teach people their culture out the Bible and what they should celebrate and what they shouldn't celebrate, they say, "Oh no, I can't give up Christmas. Oh no, I can't give up my birthday. Oh no, I can't give up Thanksgiving." Even though everybody said they have Native American in their family, I mix with Native American. But when Thanksgiving come up, they don't care nothing about the Native Americans, right? The so-called Native Americans, they don't care nothing about them. But everybody want to say that they have Indian in their family, they Native American in their family. Right. But when the time come up that you're supposed to be supporting the so-called Native Americans, you don't care nothing about that because you worried about eating that damn turkey. Keep going, Art.
Con. Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Because you rejected the Lord and his law, statutes, and commandments. Because you rejected the knowledge. And the word knowledge means to know. Right? So if you want the knowledge of the Most High, you have to know the Most High. Right? If you want to know the Most High, you have to have his knowledge. Right? And you rejected that thing there. We rejected that thing there. We said, "Oh no!" Just like when Moses came off of Mount Sinai with the law, statutes, and commandments, right? He found Israel worshiping a golden calf, right? Something that they knew they shouldn't have done, but no, they always want to follow the other nations. We always want to do what the other nations do instead of listening to Moses. like we should have did, instead of listening to Commanding General Yohana like we should do, right? Because he knows he knows the Bible, he knows what we should do. He's the best leader for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Instead of that, we want to go listen to T.D. Jakes. We want to go listen to Creflo Dollar. We want to go listen to Joel Osteen, people that don't even care about your well-being. But you know who does care about your well-being? Commanding General Yohana does. And that's why he took San Antonio, man. That's why he broke ground in San Antonio, man. That's why we're going to deliver San Antonio into Commanding General Yohana's hands, man.
Damn right.
That's what that's what we're going to do, right? Because he knows what's best for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Keep going.
I will also reject thee.
Right. Because you've rejected the Lord is going to reject you. In the Christian church, they make you believe that, oh, God loves everybody, and whatever you do, he loves what they say. God hates the sin but loves the sinner. That ain't nowhere in the Bible, man. That ain't nowhere in the Bible. Actually, God said he hates the sinner. That ain't nowhere in the Bible, man. Right? So he says, since you rejected his knowledge, the Lord is going to reject you, because you don't want to do what's right. You don't want to do what the Lord ordained you to do. Keep going.
I will also reject thee.
Right.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
Right. You're not good, because you are a priest, right? You are from a nation of kings and priests. That's who you are, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You are from a nation of kings and priests. But the Lord said you ain't no priest to him. Why? Because you rejected his knowledge to make you a priest. How you become a priest is by keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? Knowing that Bible. That's how you become a priest. Right? By getting the oil poured on your head and getting ordained. Right?
That's right.
But you rejected that thing there. You don't want to do that. You want to live like everybody else. So the Lord is going to reject you. Keep going.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
Right. That you're not going to be no priest to him. You're supposed to be a priest, but you ain't going to be no priest to the Most High. He's going to reject all that. He's going to cut all that off. Go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power.
He forgot what?
Forgotten the law of thy power.
Forgot what?
The law of thy power.
The customs of the heathens are vain. Right? You shouldn't worship the heathen. You forgot the Lord's law, right? Mm-hmm. The Lord's going to forget you. The Lord's not going to keep you. He's not going to make you a priest to him. He's going to forget you. Because you forgot the what?
Because thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Because you forgot the law of your God. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. The law of your God. Keep going. Is there more on that?
It says, I will also forget thy children.
He's going to do what?
I will also forget thy children.
And he's also going to forget your children. So the kids that so your kids that you raise that's worshiping the other nations, that celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and Halloween, that you're going to be sending out on Sunday night. Right. You're going to be sending your kids out to go to go knock on the door of the child molester. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go send your kids out to go knock on the door of the child molester. You're going to go, you tell them don't accept candy and don't accept anything from strangers. But then on Halloween, all that's out the window. You let them go knock on the door of the child molester, and then they let them get the candy, and then let them eat the candy. You don't know what's in that candy. Right. I thought the coronavirus was out here rampant, right?
Right.
And everybody's scared of the coronavirus except on Halloween. On Halloween, you let your kids go run up and go grab a hand bucket full of candy that everybody's hand been in. You accept that then, right? And for that, the Lord is going to reject you, right? And he's going to reject your kids. Go ahead. Is there any more on that?
That's in that verse, sir. We was previously in Ecclesiasticus 17 and 11.
Go back to that. Go back to Ecclesiastes 17 and 11.
You want to start from the top, sir?
Yeah, go ahead and start from the top.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, verse 11.
Besides
this, he gave them knowledge.
He said, besides this, he gave them knowledge. Remember, we just read that the Lord, that his people was destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But he said he just gave you knowledge. That knowledge is those laws, statutes, and commandments. Because you got to know those things. To have knowledge of those laws, statutes, and commandments is to know those laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
Go ahead.
And the law of life for inheritance.
Right. And the law of what?
The law of life for inheritance.
Those laws, statutes, and commandments bring you to life. And that is what gives you, and that is your heritage, black man. Hispanic man, Native American man, that is your culture, is those laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave you. That is your culture. Not Halloween, not Christmas, not Thanksgiving, not Easter. None of that. None of that is your culture. That is the oppressor's culture. And as long as you worship that oppressor's culture or keep that oppressor's culture, you will never be free, man. You'll never be free. I don't care how free you think you are. Oh, slavery's done away with. Slavery ain't done away with. You want to know how I know slavery ain't done away with? Because you're still second-class citizens.
Right.
Chattel slavery is done with, but slavery of the mind is still second. You're still in that mindset because you still want to please your oppressors, man. That's why everybody wants to be a rapper or wants to be an entertainer, because they want to make a lot of money. And then they want to do whatever makes them look non-threatening to the oppressor. You do what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do what I'm saying? They want to make you non-threatening to the oppressor. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's why everybody's shaving off their beard, man, not keeping their culture. Because they don't want to look threatening to they don't want to look threatening to the oppressor. Go ahead, Art.
I just want to say too, because one of the things that's constantly criticized in the I.S.U.P.K is what we say on the streets. When we say that the oppressor is the deceiver that the Bible speaks of, which is put in very differently than we normally do, but for the sake of, not stirring the trouble up too much, that's what's said. However, the average day blue collar white man, their deception is when they say things like happy birthday. When they say things like Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year, Happy this, Happy that. Everything's happy for them because they're in the middle of their heaven while we're in hell.
Right.
While we're in hell, and they continue to have that aura of it. And even that is deception and adds to it. And when you break away from that, that's where their spirit starts to see, wait a minute, these guys are different. These guys are breaking off. They're not part of the program. Errors, then they go in and they trying to do all this stuff to try to get you to go back to being asleep. And the truth is, now you're awake.
Damn right.
And now's the time to be awake. Now's the time to not follow these customs like Halloween, because now we know that the origins of it has nothing to do with us, so we should have nothing to do with it.
Damn right. Damn right. Give me that. So now we're about to get into the history of Halloween. Because little do y'all know that this is an ancient holiday, an ancient day for paganism. This was done way back in the days. It's ancient, but nobody knows that. Nobody believes that, right? But now we're about to get the history of Halloween, right? Go ahead, give me that article in that history of Halloween. I was trying to get.
Comic-Con. So this is in the History Channel's actual website. It says
it's history.com.
Is it history.com? Let's see.
Yeah, history.com.
Block it. Give me 1 second, sir.
Go ahead. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, it was this one right here.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm looking at it right here. So just start from the top. This is about the history of Halloween. That's it, right?
Yeah, but you see what I'm talking about?
By history.com editors. Okay. This was updated today, actually. Here we go. It says Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 2021 will occur on Sunday, October 31st.
Yeah, that's next Sunday. It's going to be there. Halloween is going to be next Sunday, and kids are going to be going out and going up to strangers' doors, knocking on their doors, trying to get candy from them, and your kids are going to get snatched up. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. They're going to get snatched up. Isn't it ironic that you tell the kids not to take candy from strangers, right? If a kid walking home from school says, if somebody drives up and walking home from school and say, hey kid, I got some candy, you tell them to run, right? Or then on Halloween, you want them to go out to different people's houses, knock on their door, and ask them for candy. Right?
Right.
So you want them to go knock on the pedophile's door. And then when the kid gets snatched up, you're going to be upset. But you sent the kid out there to get snatched up. So that's what you did as parents. Why? Because you are bad parents. You're not fit to be parenting, man, because you don't know God's law, statutes, and commandments. You haven't been raised right. Go ahead, man.
Okay. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Right. It's spelled Samhain, but it's Samhain.
Say what?
Samhain.
Samhain.
Yeah.
So Samhain.
If you click it, it'll go to it.
Okay, let me see real quick.
It doesn't say it.
Oh yeah, it says right here, Samhain. I don't even know how to say that Gaelic word pronounced Samhain.
Yeah,
Samhain.
See what I mean? Samhain.
So I guess that's where they get the Halloween from, right? It's kind of like.
I have no idea. I have no idea about that. It didn't say that.
Okay, sir.
Right, but it's pronounced Samhain. Right, so it's an ancient Celtic holiday. Right? Does anybody know where the Celtic people are from? Who are the Celts? Do you know who the Celtic people are?
Was it Ireland?
Yep. Well,
North Ireland.
Yeah, it's Northern Ireland. Those are the people that are in like Scotland, Ireland, Wales.
Okay.
Those are the Celtic. Those are the Celtic people. So it was an old ancient Celtic celebration, right? Keep going on.
Okay. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts.
Is that they did what?
They would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts.
Right. They ward off ghosts or bad spirits, right?
Right.
So they used to wear costumes to ward off bad spirits, to scare off bad spirits. Because back then, if you were a murderer or if you had a problem with a person, you would wait till Halloween, right? When everybody has a big gathering, and you would go murder the person that you want to murder.
Damn.
Right? You would wait till everybody had a big gathering, you go rape that girl that you've been wanting to rape for a while. Right? So people used to put on costume to ward off those bad spirits, right? Keep going.
Okay. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor all saints.
What?
As a time to honor all saints.
Right, keep going.
Soon, All Saints Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain the evening before, known as All Hallows Eve.
Right. So they was called so the Pope in the 1800s, the Pope, he adopted it to be All Saints Day. Right, he popped it to be All Saints Day, you already know who the Saints is, but we're gonna get that for you. Did you grab the Zondervan Bible Dictionary?
Like, so you want me to get it real quick?
Oh, it's not over there.
I can get the definition.
Yeah, go ahead and do that because I'm not finding it. What?
Like, give me 1 second.
Go ahead. But he had the Pope adopted it, right, to be the All Saints Day, right? And then he said they started doing customs to incorporate Samhain into the All Saints Day, right? Just the same way as America used to, what would you call it, as America as the America or Christianity incorporated paganism into that religion, into Christianity, to make it not a less transition for people to for those people to be indoctrinated into that religion. Did you find it?
The definition of saint is somebody from the nation of Israel.
So what does the word saint mean?
Somebody from the nation of Israel.
And they're not worshiping you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. Right? So All Saints Day is null and void, because when they say All Saints Day, they want to represent, they want to worship their men, the ones that they say are holy, the ones that they say are separate, the ones that they say are saints, but they're not really saints because the real saints are who?
Somebody from the nation of Israel.
That's who the saints are. Somebody from the nation of Israel. That's who the real saints are. All right. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, keep going. All right.
It says, the evening before was known as All Hallows Eve and later Halloween.
Right. So the evening of that was named All Hallows Eve, and it was later named Halloween. Right. Go ahead.
It says, over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick or treating.
Right. So it says over time it evolved into a day or a night of trick or treating for like kids that was trick or treating, right? Kids that wanted to go get candy because they don't kids just see candy. They don't see anything wrong with celebrating or going dressing up like okay, it's wrong to dress up. They know it's wrong to dress up like a witch, like a warlock, like a monster. They know that that's bad to dress up like that. But they say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with dressing up like Superman. Ain't nothing wrong with dressing up like a Power Ranger. Ain't nothing wrong with dressing up like a Transformer. Right? Go ahead.
Articles, sir?
Oh no, what you want? You had something.
I was just saying, like, people really do embrace that evil side of everything at this time of the year. You have a lot of people that are really into like really gory movies, scary movies, like Halloween, right? With Michael Myers and all that, or the ones with Friday the 13th, or it could be like, you know, Freddy or Jason or whatever all that stuff is. They doing all that. Meanwhile, they going and partying and they dressing up like devils with the little horns and the tails, and they dressing half naked, and they just embracing the culture of something that comes from Ireland or North. What was it again? Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. That's what you worshiping. Then you go to church on Sunday thinking that you're doing something holy. Meanwhile, you're not keeping the feast days of the Bible. You're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Bible. So all of these holidays, really what they're doing is distracting you from your culture. And that's the problem.
Right.
Because you see it as some innocent thing for your kids to have fun. Meanwhile, your kids are not learning their culture, and that's leading them to their destruction.
Right. And you know what's even heavier? That these Christians are going to go to church on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to be all in there crying and clapping for the pastor and all this extra, singing all these songs, talking about they love Jesus or Caesar Borgia. Matter of fact, they're going to say they love that, right? But then that night, they're going to send their kids out to go get murdered. Damn. They're going to send their kids out to go catch COVID-19. They're going to send their kids out and that night to go get molested. Wow. And they're going to send them up to the door and knock on and they're going to knock on that door, and somebody's going to open that door, and they're never going to see their kids again. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to say, oh, it was all in good fun. I was trying to have and what they say? They say, oh, I do it for the kids. But you know what they won't do for the kids? They won't keep God's laws for the kids. Yeah. They don't celebrate Passover for the kids. They don't celebrate Feast of Unleavened Bread for the kids. They lie to the kids. They don't tell the kids the truth. That's why when the kids grow up, you tell the kids their whole life, don't be lying to me. Don't be lying to me. And then when they get older, they start to lie to you. And then you get mad, but you can't get mad because you've been lying to them their whole life. Right. Telling them Santa Claus brought them gifts on Christmas. Telling them bunnies lay eggs. Right? You told them Thanksgiving was because the Native Americans and the Pilgrims sat down and had a big powwow and ate turkey and dressing and loved each other. Meanwhile, that was the day that the Pilgrims murdered 2 million Native Americans. It just don't make no sense, man. Right? It don't make no sense. Keep going on that article.
Sir. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Right. So it date back to the ancient festival of Samhain. Go ahead.
Or Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland,
right,
United Kingdom, and North France.
Right. So over there in Great Britain, that's where they lived at. So in Ireland, northern England and France, right?
Right.
So even they even came into the mainland of Europe. That's where the Celtic people were living. They used to be the Gallic people in France. Go ahead.
Right. Come on. Celebrate their new year on November 1st.
They celebrate their new year on November 1st because it was something that they were it was the end of the fall and the beginning of the winter. Go ahead.
This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of the year that is often associated with human death.
Right. So now we know that time as I think it's daylight savings time. Right. When the nights get longer and then the days get shorter. Right. I've always wondered what that was, but now I know. Because in here over here in America, the calendar is broken up into spring, summer, winter. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Right. So now I know. So in springtime and summertime, the days are longer, and then in wintertime and fall and wintertime, the days are shorter. The days get shorter. Now we know. Right. I think it's called like the equinox. It's been explained. Go ahead.
It says Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
Stop. It says what? Say that one more time.
Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
Right, became blurred, right? Because that's where you get your Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. That's where you get that from. You get that from the so-called oppressor also, because that came from Spain, right? Because they on that day, right? They want to go have have dinner and lunch and all that with their dead relatives. Right? They want to worship the dead. That's why it's called the Day of the Dead. And that's exactly what that just said. Read that one more time.
Yeah, that's heavy. So like it says the Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
It says the day. It says the between the living and the dead were blurred. Right. That means the dead can interact with the living on that day. Ooh, spooky, right? That's just like that's just like the devil being down below the earth with horns and a pitchfork. That's just like that. That's just like that. Ooh, something to be spooky about, something to be scared about. And the devil possess you and do all that crazy wickedness. Go ahead.
That's crazy too. And what we're seeing right here, even in their official description, is that there are more than one world, right? When the Most High loves the world of Israel, we've gone over this. And the Most High also says that God, the God of the Bible, is not the God of the dead, but of the living.
Right.
So, and when you're messing with something that has nothing to do with what God loves, obviously you're putting yourself in danger.
Right.
You're putting yourself in a time of human death.
Right.
You're partaking in something that could lead to your demise because you're disconnecting yourself and your whole family from our culture. Like Hosea 4:6 says, because thou rejects knowledge,
right,
God's gonna forget you and your children.
Damn right.
Stop doing this for your children and do this for your world, Israel.
Damn right.
Not
Damn
this
right.
dead world that they try to worship.
Right, because your world is coming. The kingdom of heaven is at hand.
That's right.
The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Keep going on that. Get some more.
It says they on the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain when
Right.
it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to earth.
Right, the witches' Sabbath, huh? The witches' Sabbath, right?
Man.
The day that the dead return to earth. See, the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And to be an Hispanic, man, and to celebrate that day, man, is just totally wicked and uncalled for.
Man.
But the reason why you celebrate it is because you're oppressed by an oppressor, just like blacks are oppressed by an oppressor, or just like what do you call it? The Native Americans are oppressed by an oppressor. We are all oppressed by an oppressor, man. That's why we need to come together, man. That's why the only thing that can help blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is to come together under the God's laws, man. under the laws of the Most High, man. The I.S.U.P.K, man. The only people in the world that keeps God's laws. Go
I
ahead.
have to mention this. It's a very important thing to mention because it's almost like a spiritual attack on our children. And that's when you go to Netflix and you see a lot of these animations, you see a lot of these animated movies that are being made specifically by Netflix, such as the one that's a cartoon. There's a cartoon on Netflix, an animated cartoon. It has a very high quality graphics, just like anything you'd see from Disney or something like that. And that, I'm telling you, is dangerous because that cartoon that was just put on Netflix not too long ago is celebrating the Day of the Dead, and it's about a Hispanic culture, and it has the children in the Hispanic culture waking up, or basically, celebrating that part of what we are not supposed to be celebrating. I forget the name of the movie. I'd have to look it up. But this particular movie is, like I said, animated, and they do that all the time. They do that in cartoons and things like that to make you seem like that's just normal. But there's nothing normal about that because that has to do with the culture that doesn't belong to you in the first place. Like I said, if we're the chosen people of the Most High and we're supposed to be following the culture of the saints, of the real saints, the Israelites, then we're not having to do anything with any of this stuff that's wicked on this earth. And when it says right here, it says that when it was believed that ghosts of the dead returned to earth, people were almost embracing the idea of accepting those types of spirits and the things that they do on that night, such as women that go out acting like whores because they want to go out and party and throw Halloween parties and have everybody come and get drunk and do all these crazy drugs and do all this wickedness and act a fool and hit the club up and hit the house parties up in a way that makes them look no different than when they were kids. They're still children. They're just trying to make it about themselves, even though they're pushing 30 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Still acting like kids, still not being responsible and not taking up the banner of their culture and turning away from these things that the Most High has been hitting home and telling us not to do.
Damn right, Art. Damn right, Art. Give clap it up for Officer Ayala one now. You know, Officer Ayala one. Yeah, throw a clap it up. That's damn right. And I actually hold that out. Give me 1 Timothy 2:9.
How come?
Because they do go out there and they dress like they go a whoring. Let me say, can I say that?
Yeah.
They go a whoring, right? Because they dress like they dress like Jezebels.
Right.
That's the only day that women could dress like Jezebels and not be called a whore.
Right.
But they're still dressing like whores.
Mm-hmm.
They're still dressing like whores. Right? Go ahead.
Come on. 1 Timothy Chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also
that
women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
And what?
That women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Now wearing skin tight short shorts with the booty cut, with the booty hanging out, and horns like a devil. Is that modest apparel?
La.
That is not modest apparel. That is dressing like a whore, like a Jezebel. Right. And then when a man runs up behind you and grabs your butt, then you want to get all mad. But you chose to wear that. I mean, to wear that. You chose to wear that. Right? You chose that. You chose to go out on mischief night, on All Hallows Eve, whatever, on Halloween, where everybody's getting drunk and doing craziness, and wear those little short shorts. Those little, some women wear underwear. You know what I mean? I think that's okay. And then when they get raped, which rape is wrong all the way around. It's a wrong act. It should be punishable by death. But you shouldn't be out there enticing men like that in the first place.
Right.
You shouldn't be, and I can only go by bad parenting. Because somebody didn't tell you that it wasn't okay to wear those things. Somebody didn't tell you it wasn't okay to go out on Halloween.
That's right.
Somebody didn't tell you it wasn't okay to celebrate Christmas, and that's bad parenting. And if parents let their kids do that, then shame on them.
Right.
Shame on them. Go ahead. And they wonder why young girls end up pregnant at 15 years old.
Come on.
They wonder why my daughter ended up pregnant at 15 years old. Oh Lord, because you never told her the dangers of going of being out there like that. And all she wanted some attention because all she see because you let the internet raise your kids.
Right.
You let TV raise your kids. Really, you should have been in there raising your kids. You should have been in there raising your kids, but you let the internet raise your kids and Instagram raise your kids. So they seen all the attention that everybody else was getting on Instagram being naked and on Facebook being naked. And now they grow up to be young teenagers and impressionable young girls, and they want to be naked also because they want attention also. That's bad parenting, man. Bad parenting. Why don't they just admit that they don't know what they're doing as parents?
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Right.
With shamefacedness.
With what?
Shamefacedness.
With shamefacedness, right? That means being shamefaced. Don't be all up in a man's face. Man, show a little decorum. Show a little decorum. Be shamefaced a little bit. You don't always have to be the center of attention.
Right.
Go ahead.
And sobriety.
And sober. Sobriety and sober. That means don't be out there drunk like most women are going to be on Halloween. Like most women are every day of the goddamn day because they cannot say no to drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Why? Because nobody has taught them how to say no to drugs and alcohol. That's why the I.S.U.P.K is needed, man.
That's right.
Because we teach you how to fight your demons, man. What parents ain't gonna do. Parents ain't gonna teach you how to fight your demons. Parents is not gonna tell you how to say no. Why? Because they're bad parents, man. Go ahead.
Not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right. That's all I wanted on that.
Sir.
Go back to the article. We're almost done with that article. We're gonna get into some scriptures.
So it says, in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops,
right?
Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests,
right,
to make predictions about the future.
Right. See, so they started worshiping that thing because they wanted to worship the dead. So they started thinking that it was going to be easier for them to connect to the dead, like a so-called psychic or a so-called medium, which is fake, right? Because really those are familiar spirits on them that's telling them the future and what's going on or what's gonna try to happen or the past or things of the time, right? So they thought it was just make it easier for the Druid priest to predict the times,
right,
or predict the future, right? Because that's what happens. That's where your psyches and stuff come from. But that's what happens. That's what happens. That people get to worshiping things and start to make things a little more wicked than they want it to be. It was already wicked to begin with, but now they're making it even more wicked. Go ahead.
Keep going on that same part.
Mm-hmm.
It says, for people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter.
Right, and there was no prophecy going on. There was no prophecy going on because we already know the only thing that could prophesy is the Most High and his priest that he set up.
Right.
Which is the I.S.U.P.K, because we go into that Bible and we read those prophecies and we understand those prophecies. But there wasn't no prophecies going on back then with the Celts. They were just having wild guesses.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires.
So to commemorate the event, they built huge sacred bonfires, right? Go ahead. What used to happen at those bonfires?
Where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities.
That's what I'm saying. See, they used to the deity or deities.
Deities.
Yeah, so they was worshiping multiple gods also. Like we always say, the Israelites were the first people on the planet to have the worship of one God and one God only. Everybody else was worshiping idols.
That's right.
And I say idols as in plural because everybody had multiple gods or multiple idols that they were worshiping. And they used to give burnt offerings to these idols at these hellish events or at these wicked events. Go ahead.
Con. It says during the celebration, the Celts wore costumes.
They wore what?
They wore costumes.
They wore costumes. It sounds like you dressing up in Power Ranger and Transformer and little devil horns with the booty and all that cut out and all that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Typically consisting of animal heads and skins.
Right, animal heads and skins. Right. Go ahead.
And attempted to tell each other's fortunes.
Right. They're trying to tell each other's future. Right. They're trying to they're immencing in different wickednesses. Go ahead.
Con. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening.
Right.
From the sacred
Go ahead.
From the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter.
Right. So they used to use that bonfire so they could stay warm during the winter. Because if you know anything about England and over there in the island of Great Britain and France, right, that winter is cold, very, very, very cold, and you could freeze to death in that winter. Right, so they used to gather together during those winters and use that bonfire so they can keep warm during that winter. And they used to bring all their harvest and all their gathering and all their what do you call it, their animals and everything that they would eat, and they used to share together. But first they would be very, very wicked. Go ahead.
By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory.
So the Roman Empire is coming into this now. Go ahead.
Lock it if I could.
Go ahead.
Now you got the fourth beast involved.
Yeah. Now you got the wicked of the wicked involved. Mm-hmm. It was already wicked, but now they even more wicked because the most wicked is coming in.
That's right.
Go ahead.
In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands.
It says what?
In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands.
Right. 2
festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain.
No, Samhain.
Right.
So now they're combining their rituals. They're combining their history of Samhain and what do you call it? Samhain and those 2 Roman worship days. Go ahead.
The first was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead.
Right. So they commemorated the passing of the dead. See, this day is all about the dead coming back and stuff like that. Keep going.
The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees.
Right. Fruit and trees, because this is the harvest time where you pick all your stuff and survive through the winter. Go ahead.
The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of this celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples.
Right. They have those at churches on Halloween.
Wow.
You go to a church on Halloween, they will bob for apples at the church on Halloween.
Seen it.
Right. Why? Because they're worshiping a Roman anyway. They're worshiping a so-called Edomite anyway, an oppressor, which is in Caesar Borgia. They're worshiping that thing there. So of course they're gonna have things that he had that he did.
That's right.
Because they worship that. They like that. Go ahead.
I just want to kind of hit on that point, because when you're talking about candy, candy is the like people nowadays treat candy damn near like how people back in the day treated fruit. It was something that was sweet. It was something that was fun to eat because it was a very attractive type of food to eat. And now when they're over there picking out candies and doing all this kind of stuff, celebrating Hallows Eve,
damn right,
this is a Roman tradition, and Rome just assimilated another white culture into theirs so that they can continue to oppress us and to deceive us, just like how they've always done, and trying to get us to copy their culture, when in fact we need to stay clear away from it.
Damn right. Keep going. It's a little bit more on that I want, and then I want to get the history of trick-or-treating.
Okay.
If you could find that for me.
That was actually the end of that. It was just talking about the bobbing of the apples.
Yeah, yeah, the bobbing of the apples, but trick or treating should be coming next. All Saints Day, but keep going. There's gonna be something about how trick or treating got into.
Oh, okay.
You see it?
Yes.
Wow, I'm telling you, I'm well studied.
Yeah, it's in the same article. You ready?
Go ahead.
The history of trick or treating. Borrowing from European traditions,
Right.
Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money.
They did what?
Americans began dressing up in costumes and going house to house asking for food or money.
Right. Because that was a European tradition, but then America came over here and they wanted to be independent from Europe, but they just adopted everything that was already in Europe. Go ahead.
A practice that eventually became today's.
Hold on seconds. That shows you that there's no difference between an oppressor over there in Europe and an oppressor over here in America. Keep going.
That practice eventually became today's trick or treat tradition.
Right.
Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors.
Right. and I bet you that was some kind of sex, ended with some sex or ended with some kind of fellatio, because that's all the oppressor does is have big sex orgies. Right, that's what they were doing in ancient Rome. That's what they were doing back in the day and that's what they do now in Hollywood. Big orgy parties. Go ahead. You said
yarn trick. Yarn trick.
Hey man, I have no idea. I
don't even want to know.
I don't want to know either, man. There's something wicked. I bet you that.
In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft.
Right. So they tried to clean it up. Like, man, you know what? We can't do this because this is witches and goblins and ghouls is something dangerous.
Right.
But we can't do this because back then if you know anything about America, that's where this is where all the criminals came from Europe and stuff. This is where all the criminals came. Mm-hmm. So when they was here and they were celebrating that Halloween, that was the day that everybody can dress up and put a mask on and go murder somebody, go kill somebody, go rape somebody, snatch up somebody's kids. Mm-hmm. Right? Go ahead.
It says at the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day.
Right? Go ahead.
Parties focused on games.
Right, like bobbing games, like bobbing for apples. Go ahead.
Foods of the season.
Right, like pumpkin pie. Go ahead.
And festive costumes.
You know what I mean? Festive, like witches, goblins, warlocks, ghouls and ghosts. Right.
Murderers and killers.
Right, murderers and killers.
Monsters and aliens.
Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason, It.
Clowns. Oh.
Go ahead, keep going.
Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations.
Right, so they started to make it nice, like, oh, now it's not a dangerous killer ghost, it's Casper the Friendly Ghost. Ooh, make it more appealing to children. Go ahead.
Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century.
That's why we don't know what happened, what it was about now, because they tried to clean it up and make it all nice and cool for the kids. For your kids, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Is that it on that?
That's pretty much it. So
that's it on that. All right, here, read this. Oh. Come on, man.
I just want to expound on what you're saying.
Go ahead.
And they try to clean it up, but the fact of the point is, it's not cleaned up now, because it went back to that, especially when you had the movie industry come back out, where I think one of the most popular genres is the horror stories. The horror movies where you have ghosts and ghouls and demons and all these different things that people like to watch. They kind of are drawn to it because they're so used to that thing. They're so used to that type of culture polluting their mind to where they find that to be interesting and exciting to embrace. And so before you know it, now it's just back to as disgusting as it was. It still has the same look, but the religious overtones behind it is muted because they don't see it as a religious thing. They just see it as a just as a day to have fun with that theme, I guess, so to speak.
Damn right. Well, we're not having fun
No.
because Black, Hispanic, and Native American kids get snatched up and kidnapped.
That's right.
That's when our women get raped. That's when all the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans get murdered, is on Halloween. So we don't have fun on that day. And the Lord hates that day, despises that day. Why? Because that's the reason why. Because witches murder, witches kidnap. That's why. Go ahead and read that.
This is an article titled "The Top 5 Most Expensive Holidays."
Right. And Halloween is on there. Why? Because costumes are expensive and everybody celebrates Halloween. And everybody wants to go get a Halloween costume for their kid and wants to get a whole bunch of candy for the kids and wants to do all this extra for the kids. They're doing it for the kids to get raped, for the kids to get molested, for the kids to get kidnapped and murdered. That's what they're doing it for the kids to catch COVID-19. That's what they're doing it for.
That's right. It says, the article says, holidays are meant to be a beautiful, joyful time that you reconnect with friends and family.
Stop. That is bull. That is bull. Holidays are meant for you, Black men, Hispanic men, Native American men, to disobey your God and your heritage. Right. That's what that day is used for. It's not used for nobody to it's not for you to link up with your family. If you want to link up with your family, you could do that every Sabbath day. Right? You could do that on Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, the Day of Atonement or something. You could do that anytime you want to. You don't have to wait for their holidays to link up with your family and have family time. Are we? Keep going.
Okay. In reality, they tend to be stressful, dreaded, depressing, and full of anxiety.
Right, because that's the day that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans always get murdered, always get kidnapped. Something always dangerous happens to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Just check out the reports on our neighborhood. In Chicago, they have Mischief Night on Halloween, where people go around and shoot random people. That's what they do on Mischief Night. Keep going.
Okay. The top 10 stressors are as follows: crowds and long lines, gaining weight, getting into debt, gift shopping, traveling, seeing certain relatives, seasonal music, disappointing gifts, feeling pressure to attend holiday events and parties, having to be nice, and holiday tipping. It's no wonder that about half of the things people get stressed out about during the holidays is money, as holidays are the most expensive time of the year.
Right. Okay. Now drop down. Okay. It's Halloween, right? Go ahead.
Number 5, Halloween. Halloween falls at the 5th.
Hold on one second.
Number 5 is Halloween.
Right.
Halloween falls at the 5th most expensive holiday, though it is more expensive than any other non-gift giving holiday.
Right, because they don't give gifts on that day, but it's still one of those days where that you spend the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
About $7 to $8 billion.
How much?
About $7 to $8 billion.
$7 to $8 billion, not million, $1 billion. That's every year that is spent on Halloween. $7 to $8 billion. Not to mention the decorations that's gonna come out that's gonna go there. $7 to $8 billion. Go ahead.
Is spent on Halloween annually, more than some European countries' gross domestic product.
That's more than some European countries that gross domestic products. That is outrageous number. $7 to $8 billion. Go ahead.
Man, that's crazy, man. It is also higher than all corporate donations for foreign aid.
Right. We don't even give that much to foreign aid in America. Americans don't even give that much in foreign aid to different countries except Israel, because they give them like some kind of $1 billion or something like that a year. But that's even more than what we give to foreign aid in America. Go ahead.
Okay. The average person will spend about.
Hold on. It says more than what they give the foreign aid. All you got to do is take could have took some of that money from you make from Halloween and go give it to the Haitians. Right. But you know who had to go take care of the Haitian people? Their brothers in the I.S.U.P.K had to go take care of their Haitian brothers. That was at the border in Acuña, in Acuña, Mexico, right?
Right.
Their brothers in the I.S.U.P.K had to go take care of them. Man. Why? Because the government don't give a damn about us. In any country in America, they don't give a damn about the children of Israel. Go ahead. Any country in the world. Go ahead.
The average person will spend about $75 on this spooky holiday.
Right. It says the average person spend about $75, but everybody wants to be in a Halloween spirit. Everybody loves Halloween here. So you know they spend more than that because all their kids got to have different costumes. They got to have buckets of candy. Their house got to be done up in Halloween decorations. Keep going on. Crazy. Man.
Halloween spending is broken out in the following ways. 38% is spent on costumes.
Right, 38% of that 8 billion is spent on costumes.
30% on candy.
30% of that 8 billion is spent on candy. Go ahead.
27% is spent on decorations.
27% is spent on decorations, like I said. Go ahead.
And 5% is spent on greeting cards.
And greeting cards. When I was growing up and doing that wicked day, nobody gave me no greeting cards. But whatever. Go ahead.
And all this money that you're spending on Halloween, you could be spending to take care of your own people. Mm-hmm. All this money you spending on Halloween to buy all this candy and get all the candy is going to cost you even more when you have 5 cavities in your mouth at the dentist in the coming years after you celebrated Halloween all these years growing up. So not celebrating these holidays means more money in your pocket to take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah, I'm right.
You know what I mean? And that's something that you got to be tactical about and remember when making a decision to come back to your culture because it benefits you in more ways than one. Monetarily, it's just a residual effect. And it's important to know that because this is the 5th most expensive holidays you can imagine, and you probably can get an idea as to what the other 4 are. Okay?
Tell them the other 4.
The other 4 would be Easter.
It's gonna be what?
Number 4 is Easter. Number 3, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day because everybody got to get they significant other something, right? Go ahead.
Number 2, Mother's Day / Father's Day
because everybody got to get they mother and father something. Which is nothing wrong with it, except on that day.
And number 1.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
I know. It's got to be Christmas.
Saturnalia.
Yeah, it's got to be Christmas. I can't wait for that day because I'm going to break out the class. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to teach about. I'm going to prophesy and teach about that thing there, man.
So like it says $630 billion.
I know. That's why they have 20 movies every year come out around that time. To get everybody in that spirit of sharing and spending money. That's why before the day after Thanksgiving they have that Black Friday, right? So everybody can go get those Christmas gifts for cheap. But then they have they start turning into a Black Friday week. You know what I mean? Where they do it for like a week. Then they got Cyber Monday and all this extra because all they want is money, man. All they care about is money. And Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are so gullible. Right, and they're so destroyed that they're going to go out and they're going to do that thing there.
All that money, keeping our oppressive rich.
Right. All right, we're done with those articles, man. Let's get to these scriptures, man. Give me Amos 5:21. Okay. Because the Lord hates these pagan holidays, man. The Lord hates these pagan holidays. Right. You got that? You almost there. All right. Well, the Lord hates these pagan holidays, and He tells you over and over and over and over how He hates these pagan holidays and how He hates for you to celebrate these pagan holidays.
Right. I got it, sir.
Right. All right. Go ahead.
Amos chapter 5, verse 21. I hate I despise your feast days.
Slow to stop. Go back to that first part.
Verse 21. I hate.
He what?
I hate.
The Most High says, I hate. Whoever says the Most High, God is love.
Right.
God loves everybody and everything, and he wants everybody to succeed and everything to succeed. He wants you to celebrate Christmas. He wants you to celebrate Halloween. No. The Lord just said he hates. Right? So the Lord hates also. The Lord doesn't just love everything. He hates some stuff. He hates some people. He hates some things. Some things he cannot stand. Go ahead.
I hate. I despise your feast days.
He despises your feast days. Either you feasting in candy, feasting with turkey, feasting with whatever you want to feast with on Christmas, feasting on Easter eggs. What they give them on Valentine's Day? Chocolate. 4th of July, you feasting on barbecue. But the Most High hates all those and despises all those days. Go ahead, man.
You know, Salaki, I was just.
Go ahead.
Thanksgiving's not considered a holiday?
No, I said Thanksgiving, the turkey.
I wouldn't know why that wasn't on the list, because I figured that would be one of the more popular, expensive ones, right?
Nobody gives gifts or anything. They just buy food.
Oh, okay. I guess that's not that expensive.
You don't have to buy anything for Thanksgiving but a turkey, some stuff in, and everybody usually brings all, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, okay. Salaki on that.
No sweat. No sweat. I'm always here to give you the understanding.
Verse 21, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assembly.
Right. He's not going to smell in your solemn assembly. He's not going to be there when you out there cooking that turkey for Thanksgiving. He's not going to be there when you send your kids out to go trick or treat. He's not going to be there with them. So whatever happens. If they get snatched up by the neighborhood child molester, they get snatched up by the neighborhood child molester. You the one who sent your kids out there to go get snatched up by the neighborhood child molester anyway. Why? Because you're a bad parent. Bad parenting.
That's right.
But your mother was a bad parent. Your grandmother was a bad parent. Grandfather was a bad parent. Father was a bad parent. So of course your kids are going to be suffering from that. And then they're going to turn out to be bad parents. Because nobody knows what the hell they're doing, but they're steady having kids. Go ahead, Art.
And right, sir. We in verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings.
Right. Because everybody says, oh, God loves me. Ooh. And he said, because I offer you burnt offerings. God loves me. God loves us. You know what I'm talking about? They be praying over their wicked food. Right? Go ahead.
And your meat offerings. I will not accept them.
He's not gonna. When you praying over that Thanksgiving turkey, he's not listening to that. When you get that candy back, he's like, Lord, please don't let nobody put no poison in this candy. He's not listening to that.
Right.
Why? Because you're doing it in the spirit of wickedness.
That's right.
Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, Salaki, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
We just read in an article that the Celtics originally sacrificed animals and plants to celebrate Halloween.
Right.
And in that spirit, that's kind of what the whole thing is of maintaining that Halloween. And back then, especially when this was written and a time frame where the Celtics were celebrating, even when the Romans took them over, they were actually still sacrificing and doing that. So when you are celebrating Halloween, it's as if you are one of those people back then that were sacrificing animals and plants and things like that to those deities that they were trying to celebrate back then. And the Most High says right here, he says, though ye offer me burnt offerings and meat offerings, I will not accept them.
Damn right. Because he doesn't want your offering. He doesn't want all that wicked meat.
Wicked meat.
It's wicked.
That's right.
He doesn't want that wicked food. They'll feast days from you. It's nonsense to think that the Most High wants that when he took the kingdom away from Saul, because Saul said he saved the good cows and the good animals to sacrifice to him.
That's right.
You think he's gonna want your GMO meat, your GMO turkeys, your Hill Country Fair cranberry sauce? You think they're gonna want that?
No.
The candy corn, sweet tarts. You think the Most High wants sweet tarts and bite-sized sneakers? That's like the Christian church saying, dude, how you gonna rob God of his money? Like the Most High need money. What does the Most High need? What is he buying? What is the Most High buying?
You don't need none of that.
Like, it makes no sense. But my people are so gullible. My people are so destroyed for the lack of knowledge, man. They're stiff-necked and rebellious. They don't want to know. They don't want to learn. They don't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Keep going. Oh, is that the end of 22?
Almost. It says,
go ahead.
neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
Right. So when you try to make peace with the Most High, he don't want your peace. What he wants for you to do is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments that he set up for you to keep. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Let these let these other nations keep their wicked holidays. You're supposed to be ye holy, be separate from everybody on the face of the earth. You're supposed to be the greatest people that the Most High has ever made, and you're supposed to keep that integrity that you have. Oh, that's a good word. Keep that integrity that you have.
That's right.
Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man that you were blessed with, that the Most High gave, because everybody else does everything and they don't think it's wrong. But you, black man, when you do something, man, I feel bad about it. Whether it's selling drugs or anything like that, you if you're not taking those drugs that you're selling, there's a conscience in the back of your mind that you're like, man, we need to stop this. We need, you know what I mean?
Right.
Keep that moral standard. Is that it on that?
Unless you wanted verse 23.
Laos. Let me get 2 Chronicles 33 and 6.
Come on.
2 Chronicles 33 and 6. I think the brother's name was Salmanessar or Manasseh.
Come on. We looking at
start at verse 1.
Come on. We in 2 Chronicles chapter 33 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign.
Right. Because this is about Manasseh. He was the king of Israel, right? And he was reigning from 12 years old, right? But he was doing all types of manners of wickedness, right? Keep going.
And he reigned 50 years in Jerusalem.
Right.
But did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
He did what?
Did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
He did some evil things in the sight of the Lord. Now let's read and see what some of these evil things were. Keep going.
Like unto the abominations of the heathen.
Right.
Whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 3. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down.
Right. And
he reared up altars for Baalim.
Right. For Baal. Right. He raised up altars for Baal, right? Worshiping Baal. Go ahead.
And made groves and worshipped all the host of heaven.
Right.
And served them. Verse 4.
Keep going. He's going to say.
Also, he built altars in the house of the Lord.
So he was trying to build temples to other gods and build worship houses for the Lord. Go ahead.
Whereof the Lord has said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever.
Right.
And he built altars for all the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord.
Right.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom.
Right. So because he was worshiping he was trying to build offering temples for the Lord, right? And he was building temples for other nations and other gods, right? You feel me? Because it says all the hosts of heaven. You feel me? So everything that was supposed to be that other nations was worshiping in the sky and this that believing in idols, right? He was making altars to them too. Go ahead. And for that, he calls his children to pass through the fire. Just like when you want to let your kids go celebrate Halloween, you let them pass through the fire, right? When you let your kids celebrate Christmas, you let them pass through the fire. Right, because what did that precept say earlier about the kids? He's going to reject you and reject your kids.
Right,
that's letting them pass through the fire. Go ahead.
It says, and he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom.
Right.
Also, he observed times and used enchantments.
He did what?
He observed times and used enchantments.
What is observing times?
Is that Salakia, and just be taking a stab at it? You're talking about astrology and like fortune telling and things like that.
Okay, that's good. But what are we talking about? What is Halloween?
Halloween would be a time or basically like a celebration of the other nations.
No. You what is Halloween? What was Halloween back in the gap at Samhain?
What was it? I mean, it was one of the times that they were celebrating.
They were celebrating the time of going from from fall to winter. They was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was observing the times.
Well, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, the
You know what I
New
mean?
Year and the thing.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
man.
New Year and thing and things like that. He was observing the time also,
Mhm.
right? Which is a no in Israel. Go ahead.
Big time. Come on. And used enchantments.
Wait, stop. What is enchantments? We was just talking about this earlier.
It was
you were talking about it earlier and didn't even recognize about enchantments.
Enchantments was talking about marketing. Like
You took my notes.
I did take your notes.
Go ahead.
But if you could expound on that, I'd appreciate it.
Enchantments would be like so you ever seen a burger commercial?
That is, yeah,
right.
I know what you mean, though.
But,
enchantment, yeah.
But at the burger, but on the burger commercial, they got a big breasted woman, and she's riding on roller skates. Like, what does a big breasted woman got to do with riding on roller skates?
It's an enchantment.
It's an enchantment. And then at the end of the commercial, you're like, oh, this is a burger commercial. What the hell does the burger have to do with the woman in little booty shorts and having a burger?
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything with a low cut shirt with breasts hanging out and booty shorts with a burger? What does that have to do with how to make a burger? That's enchantment. You know what also is an enchantment? Right? God loves everybody. God loves everybody. Put your money. Oh. I knew I wasn't tripping. I know I was on the plastic, bro. God loves everybody. Put your money in it. And I'm even gonna pass the collection plate around. Right? When the pastor drive up to the church in a brand new Cadillac with the rims on it, jump out with a nice little fly suit. Everybody looks at that like, oh man, he is something because he's driving a nice car. He got the nice house. He got a jet, right? And he got the nice suit. That's an enchantment. Mm-hmm. That's an enchantment. You know what else is an enchantment? Happy Halloween, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. All that shit is an enchantment. Because they're enchanting you into doing and to try to celebrate what they're celebrating. Yeah. Happy Easter. And then we tell them, I don't celebrate none of that. But why you don't celebrate Easter? It's for the kids. Why you don't celebrate Christmas? What about the kids? The kids, your kid's not gonna love you. That's what they say. Your kid's not gonna love you because you don't celebrate Christmas. Your kid's not gonna love you. That's crazy. It's nonsense. Kids don't care about Christmas until the parents make them care about Christmas. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Alex.
When it comes to enchantments, you see that especially during these holiday seasons because there's a certain aura and it's supposed to make you feel this kind of weird fuzzy feeling. You know what I mean? And marketing is a very good way to put it because marketing is all about enchanting people and enticing them to want your product, right?
Right.
It's almost deceptive. It's like you're trying to grab their attention. But that's how it is with a lot of different things. But especially when it comes to the holiday season, people are using enchantments as a form of warfare almost to keep you asleep and to keep you locked in and to keep your children crying because they're not getting what they want because they see all their other friends getting what they want. So it all is one big enchantment that leads to that article we read earlier about those holidays costing the most money because for them, enchantment means power for them and it means money and influence and all those other things that come with that when those enchantments work on us.
And it is warfare. Mm-hmm. It is spiritual warfare.
That's right.
Because they're trying to go to war with your spirit because everything in your spirit is telling you not to celebrate Christmas. Man. But then they putting all the movies on TV. They want you to celebrate Christmas. They're putting you go to the stores. They're playing Christmas music, right? Everything is Christmas. This Thanksgiving. This Halloween. This. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody. So it is playing with your spirit. It's what would you call it?
Man,
It's enchanting you.
that's right. No, you're absolutely right.
It's enchanting you. It's spirit. That's why it's spiritual warfare.
Mhm.
You feel me? The warfare of the warfare of this war is not carnal. It is a spiritual warfare. You know what I'm talking about? Because we battle with the spirits in high places. I'm gonna find that scripture. Go ahead.
Another one that really, really gets us, and this is one that you just naturally see. It's a normal thing, but especially in certain times of the years, it really comes into play, and that's movie trailers, video game trailers, even press conferences, things like when the PlayStation 5 came out and they showcased it and they had the video, the presentation to show it. It was enchanting because people were like, damn, look at oh, I gotta get this, right? Like it was all about you wanting to get whatever they're showing to you. Same thing goes with the movie. You say you go to a movie to watch a movie, they're gonna show you 5 other enchantments before you even watch that movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You try to watch a show on TV, you're gonna have to deal with 5 or 6 minutes of commercials and all these enchantments they're trying to hit you with to try to say, hey, keep spending your money, keep our kingdom going. We're in heaven, you're in hell, you're gonna stay poor, we're gonna stay on top, and you're just gonna be deaf, dumb, and blind in the ghetto. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, without no knowledge, while they're still on top. And that's a warfare we face every single day, and we don't even realize it. That's heavy right there.
Go ahead. Read that 10 and 4.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4.
Right.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Right, because the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. This is not a physical war. Right? We can't go get guns and fight our oppressors. We can't do anything like that. Go ahead.
It says, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
Right, the pulling down of strongholds, the mighty with God, to the pulling down of strongholds, the pulling down of Christmas, the pulling down of Thanksgiving,
Right.
the pulling down of Halloween, the pulling down of Christianity, the pulling down of Islam, the pulling down of Buddhism, the pulling down of America. Right. We don't have to do anything but keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High do the rest. That's all we have to do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments, or keep the brotherhood intact. Right? And the Most High does the rest. Keep our law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
We have the advantage over every other nation on this planet because the law, statutes, and commandments is our advantage. We don't have there's kids right now that in Iraq and in the Middle East that throw rocks at tanks because they want their freedom. We don't have to throw rocks at tanks. All we have to do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Get this I.S.U.P.K. Learn how to serve the Lord correctly.
Damn right.
That's all you have to. That's all we have to do. We don't have to do anything that's crazy,
right,
and that's wicked. We don't have to do that thing, but we want to do that thing. That's the pulling down of the strongholds of your mind, and also the strongholds. But once you pull down the strongholds of your mind, right, of Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and all so forth, and smoking weed and cigarettes and whoring yourself out, right? And what you would do for money, selling drugs, right? Doing drugs, putting cocaine in your nose, smoking cocaine, pumping heroin in your veins, drinking liquid heroin. Right, once you pull those needs down and those strongholds down in your mind, right, nothing can stop you after that because you will be with the Most High, man. Like you will be trying to serve the Most High. Go ahead.
Did you want me to continue, sir?
Is that it on that one?
There is verse 5.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5.
Yep.
Casting down imaginations.
Right, casting down imaginations. Oh, everything is okay with Halloween, right? But then, like the imagination is on Halloween, nothing's gonna go wrong. My kid's gonna go knock up to the door, and then he's gonna get candy, and he's gonna come back home. No, your kid's gonna go knock up to that door, get snatched in there, and you're never gonna see your child again. Or your kid's gonna go to that door, knock on that door, get that candy, and take that candy home, eat it, and there's gonna be needles in there. He's gonna choke to death. Hold your point. We got to get past this. Go ahead.
Sir. It says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh.
Right, like homosexuality, right? Like God loves everybody, right? All that is against the Most High. All that is against God and His laws, right? Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all that is against God. Keep going, Art.
Khan says, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh,
Right,
and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai.
right, to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, of Christ. So everybody everything that's against the knowledge of God, every nation that's against the knowledge of God is going to go into captivity under the obedience of Christ.
That's right.
They're going to understand that there's one king, there's one body, and there's one nation that the Most High loves. That is the kingdom of heaven. Right? Now go back to Second Chronicles.
Khan, when Second Chronicles
33,
chapter 33,
verse 6.
Verse 6. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom.
Right.
Also, he observed times and used enchantments.
Right. Enchantments in that marketing scheme. Right. Go ahead.
And used witchcraft.
And witchcraft. What's witchcraft?
Witchcraft would be like substance abuse and things like that, wouldn't it?
Witchcraft is not. It is substance abuse. That's not witchcraft. The witchcraft is, because if you think about it, what does a witch do?
They concoct stuff. Right?
I don't know anything about cooking drugs or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But that's how you make drugs. You feel me? Because really cocaine is a plant. It's a coca plant, right? But then they have to do things to make it into a powder, and then to make it into crack cocaine, you have to cook it. So you have to cook it further and make it something else, right?
Nice sense, man.
Right? Am I right? So what? So the witchcraft is in the potion that is being made to make it like that. You know what I mean? Because weed wasn't always as strong as it is now.
Nah.
Right? But it's stronger now because they have did things to it.
That's witchcraft. Right?
Yeah, that's witchcraft right there. That's witchcraft right there. Like, there's nothing wrong with the marijuana plant,
right?
But what they do to it to make it stronger and smoke it and make and to make it mind altering, you know what I mean? Where you're not yourself when you do it, that is the witchcraft. Go ahead.
Khan, sir. It says, and he caused Salakia, and he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft,
right?
And dealt with the familiar spirit.
Now, what's a familiar spirit?
A demon.
Yeah, a demon. A demon is a familiar spirit, right? And it's a familiar spirit. Why is it called a familiar spirit?
That's a lot.
I know. Quit looking at my notes and ask questions. Because a demon is a familiar spirit because it's familiar with you. When you was so you know when the people go to a psychic, right?
Okay.
And then they tell them, tell me something that only my uncle would know, or tell me something only that happened with me and my aunt, me and my grandmother, right? Because you fell down at your grandmother's house and scraped your knee, and your grandma put the stuff on there and bandaged it up, and it was only you and her there.
Yeah.
Right? How does that person know that?
Is it because the demon tells them about it?
Right, because the demon tells them, because the demon was there. The demon was always there with you. The demon was there with you when you were 6 years old with your grandma, and you fell, and she fixed it, and she passed you up. Because it's a familiar spirit. It's familiar with you.
Mm-hmm.
It knows who you are.
Yeah.
That's why the demon is always able to get in when it needs to get in. You know what I mean? You might be around the brothers, be feeling good, doing good, and all that. And then as soon as you get alone, or as soon as you go to the crib, the demon's on your neck because he was there the whole time. You feel me? And then as soon as you go home, he grab hold of you like, yeah, what you gonna do now? You gonna fight me? You gonna fight me? Or you gonna give in? You gonna fight me? Or you gonna give in? You know what I mean? And the angel's sitting there watching you too, like, come on, fight, come on, fight. Yeah, you know what I mean. But you understand it though? How it's a familiar spirit. Yeah. It's a familiar spirit because it's familiar with you, right? Keep going, Art.
He dealt with a familiar spirit and with wizards.
A wizard. What is a wizard? A wizard casts spells. A wizard casts spells too. Is just like a male witch. Go ahead.
He wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger.
Right. So he did much evil into the Lord he did much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke the Lord to anger. He made the Lord mad. Right. And that's because his father didn't tell him, because he been ruling since he was 12. And his father probably didn't tell him how important it was for him to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. Give me Proverbs 22:6.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
So that's what he didn't do with Manasseh.
Right.
He didn't. His father didn't train him up to go to be a warrior in the sight of the Lord. He raised him up to let him fail. Right. That's what a lot of y'all do with y'all kids.
Mm-hmm.
You raise them up to fail because you won't tell them the truth. You won't tell them who the devil is. You won't tell them who the oppressor is. You won't tell them what you tell them. You won't let them. You let them celebrate these wicked holidays where they go out and they walk up to child molesters' doors. Keep going.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right, because the reason why they always depart from what you taught them is because you're not teaching them the way that they should go. The way that they should go is with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord.
Right.
That's the way they should go. You don't do that. That's why when your kid grows older, you tell your child all the time about going to do things sporadic at the moment, right? And then they go to the club, get drunk, have sex with the guy sporadic at the moment, get pregnant. And now they got to raise their child by themselves. Oh, excuse me.
Salaki.
Right, now they got to raise the child by themselves. Why? Because you're a bad parent and you didn't prepare your child to be a grown up when they're grown. Mm-hmm. You didn't prepare them. There's women nowadays that's 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 years old that don't know how to cook.
Damn.
You didn't prepare your child to feed themselves?
You had 20 years
to prepare your child. You feel me? Yeah, you didn't prepare your child to feed themselves. So now they stuck eating McDonald's every day. And now they got 5-6 kids feeding them McDonald's every day. Mm-hmm. So the cycle will never end. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. The cycle will never end. Right? That's what we're trying to say. That's why I say train up a child in the way he should go. And these law, statutes, and commandments are the only way that they should go.
That's right.
But you don't know the law, statutes, and commandments because you don't care about the law, statutes, and commandments because you think everything that you do is right and everything that you do is completely wrong. But then when Commander General Yohana sends priests and prophets out to tell you what's wrong and to tell you how to do things, you are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans you don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about because your children are the one that's getting pregnant at 14, 15. They don't even know how to wash themselves right, and they're getting pregnant.
That's disgusting, man.
You don't know what you're doing. If they just take a time out to goddamn listen to Commanding General Yohana, if you just take the time out to listen to Commanding General Yohana, take the time out to understand what he is talking to you about, then maybe you will become a good parent. But until then, you're going to be a bad parent, and your kid's going to be a bad parent. Everybody's going to be bad parents in your lineage, and the generational curse is never going to end. Why? Because you don't want to do what Commanding General Yohana says. You don't want to listen to these law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord has sent upon you. You don't want to train your children up in the way that they should go. Give me Proverbs 3:31.
Sir. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Do what?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
It says, don't envy the oppressor. So whatever the oppressor does, you can't do, black man, because you got laws, statutes, and commandments not to do those things.
Right.
The oppressors, they did what they got what they didn't get no laws, statutes, and commandments to do. Their God is fake. Your God is real. Your God said if you don't do these laws, statutes, and commandments, you're gonna go into slavery and slave ships, and that happened. That's why you should teach your kids better. Go ahead.
And choose none of his ways.
Don't choose Christmas.
None of his ways.
Don't choose Easter.
None of his ways.
Don't choose Valentine's Day.
None of his ways.
No Thanksgiving.
None of his ways.
No Halloween.
None of his ways.
No Christianity. No Islam. No Buddhism.
None of his ways.
No Pan-Africanist. No weed. No cigarettes. No heroin. No cocaine. No crack.
None of his ways.
None of those things. You choose none of those things.
Right. Damn right.
Is there any more on that?
That's that precept.
Now give me Proverbs. Give me Proverbs 22 and give me Proverbs 23 and 17.
Come on.
Proverbs 22 and 17. 23 and 17.
Come on. We in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 17.
You know what? Start at 13.
Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13.
Right.
Withhold not correction from the child.
It says, don't withhold correction from the child. When your child does something wrong, you correct them, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man.
Right.
You set that correction upon them. When they want to go out and celebrate Christmas, you tell them, hell no. That is not what you do. That's what happens when you go out and tell them when they want to go out and be like, Daddy, I want a Christmas present. No, we don't do Christmas around here. I get you something, not for Christmas and not on Christmas Day or whatever that is, but we can go get you what you want. You've been good lately. Right? When they tell you, oh, I want to celebrate Thanksgiving. No, we ain't eating no turkey tonight. You know what I'm talking about? We'll have some we'll go get some chicken sandwiches or something.
Right.
And we ain't having no turkey tonight. Matter of fact, well, you like McDonald's, huh? You want some McDonald's chicken nuggets? You know what I'm talking about? You want a Happy Meal or something? Well, you get to choose the day. You like pizza? You get to choose the day.
Mm-hmm.
But
we gotta switch it up on it.
Yeah, but you ain't celebrating no damn Thanksgiving. You want Halloween. You want Halloween. You know what? I'm gonna go get you a big bag of candy. Let's go to the store. You can get whatever candy you want at the Stizzor, but you ain't going to dress up like no goon and goblin and go knock on strangers' doors and get candy.
Right.
What's up, Art?
I was saying, man, I don't even want to watch football on that day, man, because it's like they always have the Cowboys versus Redskins back when they was called the Redskins, right? Because it was all part of the theme, right? The ongoing battle between Native Americans and the Manifest Destiny at Crackers that was doing this stuff. So it was like really just a part of their ways,
right?
And we are to choose none of them.
Damn right, Art.
You know what I'm talking about?
Damn right. Keep going, Art.
Kawaki says, for if thou beatest him with the rod, if thou beatest him with a rod,
it says correct your child. Then it says if you're gonna beat them with a rod, if you're gonna whoop your children, right? Go ahead.
He shall not die.
He ain't gonna die. It ain't gonna hurt him to chastise your child. It's not gonna hurt him. It's actually gonna build him up and make him stronger. Mm-hmm. Start that over from the beginning, Art.
We in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13.
Right.
Withhold not correction from the child.
Withhold not correction. It says correct your child when he does something wrong. Go ahead.
For if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
So if you chastise him, if you give him a little spanking, then he's not gonna die. But he shouldn't be. But you got to correct your child, or he's gonna think it's okay. Go ahead. Same thing for the women when the kids come out, when the little boys come out with your high heels on and makeup or whatever, and he think that's okay. That's not okay.
Nope.
Chastise him, correct him. Because I know you're so wicked and evil that you did kick your man out the house, and now he ain't got no father figure to look up to. So now he's trying to look up to the woman in the house. because every time the daddy want to correct the child or correct his son, you got something to say like you'll never see him again. You ain't you. That's how they feel. That's how they do.
That's right.
And then they end up growing up with a Lil Nas X son. Go ahead.
If thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
He ain't nothing gonna. He ain't gonna die. The little whooping ain't gonna hurt. Go ahead.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shall deliver his soul from
Start
hell.
at 14 again.
Come. Thou shalt beat him with the rod.
It says, thou shalt beat him with a rod. It tells you twice. Now, if the Bible says, these is black men writing this, right?
Right.
And if a black man tell you something twice, he really mean that. A black man tell you, hey, tell his kids, hey, make sure y'all clean up the house before I come back from work. And then before he leaves, he be like, hey, make sure this house is clean. He means that. He means that. Go ahead, Art.
It says thou shalt.
Yeah.
Which is like a commandment. Right?
You're absolutely right.
Like you see this fringe on these pants?
Mm-hmm.
One of these fringes represents thou shalt beat him with the rod. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like because you're physically, sometimes you have to physically beat that demon out of them, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's ultimately what it's doing.
And then they're gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that butt whooping and be like, you know what? My daddy didn't like it when I did that, so I'm not gonna do that no more. So my daddy didn't like that. He was like, yeah, there's some things that he don't play about, and it's that, and this. Right. And I don't think we should do that. You know what I'm talking about? Because that right there is something serious. My booty still hurt. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I want them to think. Like, you feel me?
It's like better it be your father doing that than the Most High doing that. You know what I mean?
You damn right.
You might as well take that correction physically before you take that correction emphatically from the Lord. You know what I mean? So, Lord be with you if you want to try to change your way. But like if you decide not to repent, even after the scripture tells you more than one time to do it, like, come on, man. You just gonna get hurt even more. Right. You might as well follow instructions.
Right. Start at 14 again.
Proverbs Chapter 23, verse 14. Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shall deliver his soul from hell.
Right. So it says, so you shall beat him with a rod. You have to spank your children, man. You don't always have to spank them physically, but sometimes you have to punish your child to let them know that what you did, hey, that shit ain't cool. I mean, Salakia, that isn't cool. Sometimes you have to let them know that. And sometimes you have to use an angry voice. So sometimes you can't be your child's friend, man, because you have to be a parent. That's what's wrong with the world. Everybody wants to be their child's friend and want to be liked by their child. Your child not supposed to like you.
That's right.
It's supposed to love you, but not supposed to like you. And the reason they're not supposed to like you is because you're supposed to be chastising their butts every chance you get. Every chance you get, you're supposed to be on their neck. Like, what you in there doing?
Right.
That's why with the oppressors' kids, they're in there building a bomb, building AK-47s or something to take to school and shoot up the school with.
Man.
But black kids don't have that. What you call it? Don't have that privilege because parents is in there every chance they get. You feel me? What you doing in here? Why you so quiet? You know what I'm talking about?
Right, yeah.
Why you so? As soon as the kids get quiet, let me peek my head in here because I don't.
No, they're trying to do something mischievous.
Then you got to come back 5 minutes later, like, yeah, all right, they still in there watching that movie. Oh, I wonder what movie they watching. You know, it got to be Lion King. You know what I mean? Because it's like kids get into things.
Yep. No kidding, man. I could even slack you, sir.
Go ahead.
I remember even back in the day, like when we were young, my mother, she used to be real involved with the Christian church that I used to go to. You know what I'm saying? And when we would go there, we were hanging out with the other kids in the church while they were doing whatever, setting up some crap. I don't even know. But we were out there messing around, going upstairs, trying to get in the crawl spaces and the little areas, and we were doing stuff we weren't supposed to, stuff that could have been dangerous. You know what I mean? Always trying to get into something that it was like an adventure for us. Just whatever our space was, we were trying to find out something cool about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
and it's very, very prone to danger. Babies do the same exact thing.
Right.
You know, if you're not watching a baby, it's gonna go and jump down the stairs. You know what I mean? He's gonna go running his head into something sharp. You gotta pay attention to what that child's doing, and you gotta make sure to correct them so that they don't end up hurting themselves.
Right.
Come.
Go ahead. Go ahead and read. And thou shalt deliver his soul. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 14. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
And shall do what?
Shall deliver his soul from hell.
Right, because right now we're in hell.
That's right.
So when you chastise your child and tell him the law, statutes, and commandments, and show him that he shouldn't be doing what these other nations are doing, you're delivering his soul from hell.
Damn.
When you tell him he shouldn't celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Halloween, you're delivering his soul from jail. I mean, from hell and jail. As a matter of fact, and jail. Matter of fact, yeah, and jail too, and jail too, because they think they're equal with these other nations and they're not. But when they're doing what the oppressors do, the Most High puts that judgment on them to where they go to jail. That's a judgment from the Most High.
That's right.
Just like diabetes is from the Most High. High blood pressure is a judgment from the Most High. STDs a judgment from the Most High. Drug addiction from the Most High. Right? Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. Let not thy heart envy sinners.
Right. Don't envy the sinners. Just like Proverbs 3:31 just said. Don't Proverbs 3:31 said, don't yeah. Proverbs 3:31 said, don't envy not the oppressor.
That's it.
So this one says, let thine heart not envy sinners. So if somebody's out there selling drugs, selling their body, celebrating Halloween, don't envy that thing there. Celebrating Christmas, don't envy that thing there. Leave that alone. Like, hey, man, just know that their soul is going to be destroyed if it's not already. Go ahead.
Come. But be thou in the fear of the Lord.
Do what?
Be thou in the fear of the Lord.
Do what?
Be thou in the fear of the Lord.
It says, don't envy the sinner, but be thou in fear of the Most High. Be a very, very afraid.
Right.
Because the Most High could put your soul in hell.
That's right.
You're already in hell, but there's a deeper hell that you could get. I'm not talking about under the ground. We're talking about if you're just smoking weed, the Most High can get you some laced weed, right? Have you smoke it, and then you're gonna be drug addicted, or your mind's gonna be all messed up from that laced weed. There's always the rabbit hole always goes deeper than what you think. You know what I mean? Always goes deeper than what you think. You can do that heroin. You can be on heroin, and the Most High can give you that blue magic heroin where you die. You don't want that. Keep going on.
Come. All the day long.
All the what?
All the day long.
In the morning, in the evening, at night. All the day long. Fear the Most High. Be like, I ain't doing that. Why? Because the Most High said so. Because the Most High said so. Why are men in the I.S.U.P.K afraid to leave their wives? Afraid to put their wives away? Why? Because the Most High said no divorce. Because we fear the Most High. Why are men in the I.S.U.P.K afraid to do wickedness? Why? Because we fear the Most High.
All the day long.
All the day long. Every day. All day. Keep that discipline. Because we fear the Most High. That's why we don't celebrate Halloween, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. Because we fear the Most High. That's why we don't do these pagan days, man. You know what? These pagan hell days.
Hella days, man.
That's what we calling it. Hell, no, just hell days. Pagan hell days. That's what all these are. They're oppressors. They're the oppressors' days. They're not your days, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. That's it on that, right?
Con, sir.
How much time you got left? Come on, let's knock this out. Give me oh snap. Hold up. Give me Deuteronomy 18.
Con.
Give me start at verse 10. Now we're gonna get the law about these things.
That's right. Deuteronomy chapter 18.
Because we always have to give the law about it, right? Because if we don't give the law about it, then it's null and void, right? They'd be like, oh, they just bullshit. They just lying. If we don't give the law about it, because the Lord said so. Thus saith the Lord. Go ahead.
There we go. Con. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire.
There it is. You letting your daughter or your sons pass through the fire when they celebrate Thanksgiving. When they go, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Halloween. Easter too. When they go on the Easter egg hunt, you don't know who's hiding behind them bushes. Could be Ted Bundy or something. But when they go knock on that door on Halloween and get pulled in, next thing you know, you ain't never heard from your child again. Why? Because you letting them pass through the fire. You're not chastising them with the rod. Go ahead, Art.
Or that useth divination.
Right.
Or an observer of times.
Right. We already went over observer of times, right? About hold that out. Give me Jeremiah 10.
Come. Observer of times. Yeah, I got 10.
Give me Jeremiah 10. Yep, you know it. Give me Jeremiah 10. I forgot that. That's something I can't forget that. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
See, the house of Israel got this. Everybody doesn't get these laws, statutes, and commandments. He said, hear this, the Lord spoke against you, O house of Israel. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord.
Thus saith who?
Thus saith the Lord.
That means the Lord is saying this, man. You must listen. You got to listen to this. The Lord is saying this right here. The Lord is speaking. He's spitting right here.
That's right.
The Lord is saying this. Go ahead.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
It says, don't learn the way of the heathen. So don't be observing the times. Don't be reading the stars. Don't be worshiping the stars and the moon. Don't be worshiping Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Don't do what the heathens do. Go ahead.
Come. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Don't be observing those times. Don't be up there trying to read the stars. Oh, it's the winter solstice. Oh, it's this day. It's the equinox. It's daylight savings time. It's this and that and that and this. Don't be trying to do all those things. What's those things called? The astrology. Or what's those things called? When they be like Sagittarius and Leos.
Oh, astrology. Oh, no.
Zodiac signs.
That's it. Zodiacs.
Zodiac signs. Don't be worried about no zodiac signs.
Right.
Some women be like, "Oh, I can't mess with you because you a Sagittarius and I'm a Pisces and I can't do that." Like,
can't stand that, man.
Like, so you base your whole life on that? Yeah,
Twitter, bro, man.
All right, do your thing, bro. All right, Most High in Christ. You know what I'm talking about? You hope you get out of that because that's not your culture. But if that's what you want to do, man, all right. And then they go get pregnant by Tyrone that go upside their head all the time. Then they go have a baby by Tyrone, and Tyrone go upside their head when the wind blowing. Where you at, girl? Go upside their head. But hey, that's the way the world works. He's probably a Sagittarius. Go ahead.
Come on. Learn not the way of the heathen.
Right. Don't learn the way of the heathen, right?
And
go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
Because the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. They look at heaven and they be like, oh, really? Ooh, the new moon and all this extra. A full moon. That's why they got what's them things called? Werewolves.
Right.
Because a full moon makes werewolves turn for some reason. I don't know. Oh. They say, oh, the witches say they get power from the moon. When the moon is full, I'm at full power. witches, and then vampires be at night. It's a whole bunch of nonsense.
That's right.
Nonsense. I even heard people say, "Oh, the full moon make everybody in the world act up, so there be a whole bunch of killings on that day." It's a whole bunch of killings every day in the black community, Hispanic community, Native American community. Gangbanging runs rampant in our communities. They murder people every day in our communities. Talking about not just on what do you call it? Not just on full moons. It's crazy. And that's it. That's it on that, right? Because the customs of the people are vain.
That's right.
No, go ahead. Go back to what's in there. Go back to Deuteronomy. We ain't got time.
Deuteronomy Chapter 18, verse 10.
Right.
You want me from top?
No, just go from or that use it divination.
Or that useth divination,
right?
Or an observer of times,
right?
Or an enchanter,
right?
Or a witch,
right?
Or a charmer.
But we talked about enchanter already, right? Enchanter is
right.
marketing.
Yeah,
somebody that markets. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And or a witch. What we already went over what a witch is. A witch is somebody that makes potions.
Whip it up.
That whips up potions to give you that alters your mind. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Or a charmer.
Or a charmer, right? You know what a charmer is, right?
You're talking about like
a hustler.
Oh, okay.
A hustler. A hustler is a charmer. Somebody that's gonna be like, hey, brother, you want to buy this? Such and such and such? No, man, I'm good, brother. So come on, brother. Everybody need this. Everybody buying this. You know, just you know what I'm talking about? It's a hustler. You feel me? Make you they charm you to buy that. Oh man, maybe I do need that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you feel me? But you don't really need it. He just hustled you. He just charmed you into using it. Go ahead.
Or a consulter with familiar spirits.
What's a consulter with familiar spirits?
If I could,
go ahead.
It'd be somebody that gives in to those thoughts in their head. Somebody that gives in to those same lusts over and over.
So, you're almost there, but it says a consulter with familiar spirits. If
fortune teller.
There you go. Okay. If I consult with a demon is a familiar spirit. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm consulting with that familiar spirit and I'm getting information from that familiar spirit to tell everybody this, that, you know what I'm talking about?
Like a Ouija board, mom.
Yeah. Like what are those what do you call it? Like psychics and fortune tellers and stuff. Miss Cleo.
Right.
Go ahead.
Come on. Or a wizard. Right. Or a necromancer,
right? A wizard, a wizard is a male, like a male witch. You know what I mean? Cast spells and stuff like that. And then a necromancer is somebody that brings somebody back to life from the dead. You know what I mean? Because there's actually like plants and stuff that can make you dead for 3 days. Go ahead,
Slacky, and this is a question I have for you.
Go ahead.
And this is something that is a little bit more personal on the side of things. When I was in college and I was studying nanotechnology and physics and science, at times there were things that I was learning about that made me want to learn more about it, but not indulge myself in it. Because, like, for instance, some of the technology seemed like it was damn near abominable of what they were trying to do. Like, say, for instance, they're trying to make computers to take the next step from the silicon base because of Moore's law coming to end around 2020 and them needing to change the process to try to make computers faster. They started to use DNA computation. They started to do things like with the nanotechnology where they're trying to get molecules that are so small they can get in your bloodstream and go past the blood-brain barrier to get inside your brain. Like, there's some witchcraft going on with some of that science. So where do we draw
it is.
Where do we draw the line with what science and being because being trained in that field, I understand the scientific aspect that's good and the scientific aspect that could be bad, you know what I mean? Dangerous for society.
In that sense, because they were trying to use DNA to change things, that's the science that's bad. But things like
I know it's good stuff too.
Yeah, like taking minerals from the ground, like minerals and stuff like that. That's simple science, but all this extra science, like building rocket ships to go to the moon and things like that. Yeah, that's a no. Those things are no. Intentions with science is a
like weaponry is a really good example. You could look at ancient history, and there's something called
Intentions.
Damascus steel. They use a nanotechnology process to make steel that's lightweight, that could cut through other people's steel swords. So when they were going to sword fighting back then, the people of Damascus were able to defeat someone else's sword and literally cut it when they cross blades with each other and win the battle. So there was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, where's the line drawn within the weaponry side of things? Where's the line drawn within the medical side of things, and also the industrial everyday use side of things? I feel like in the kingdom of heaven, we'll kind of get that on point.
There's nothing wrong with weaponry. What's wrong with weaponry is the murders that take place with the weaponry.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There's nothing, the bullying that goes on with the weaponry. You know what I mean?
No, you look at you look at Vietnam napalm. That was weaponry that you could say, dang, that's.
But they had the same weapons.
Come on, chemical warfare in World War I, gas, that kind of.
But they had the same weapons.
Mhm.
They had the same weapons, like the nuclear bomb. The nuclear bombs.
That's a really good example.
But
right
everybody,
there.
but now everybody has the same weapons.
Yeah.
So it's not really nothing wrong with that. But the intentions that they have with the nuclear weapons is the bad problem.
Mhm.
Is the problem, because anybody's intentions is wrong. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess what I'm curious is, because I had that background, I was curious about what that role plays in our kingdom.
Like we have lasers now, right? They have lasers now
Mhm.
that cut through diamond and cut through steel and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
But then when they want to use lasers to go to war with and go kill people and murder people, right? That's the bad part with the lasers, because there's nothing wrong with lasers.
Yeah.
Right, but when they want to go fight with the lasers and kill with the lasers, that's the wicked part.
Come on.
You feel me? You get the drift?
Yeah, because I feel like if I was given the mind to be able to create things, I want to make sure that I'm inventing things that are beneficial. You know what I mean?
Most High in Christ, we all want to be beneficial, especially to our kingdom, but we have to make sure that it benefits the nation and everything that we do.
Come.
You know what I'm talking about? It benefits Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Keep going on.
Come. It says, or a necromancer.
Right.
Verse 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
Right. It's abomination to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
An abomination to the Lord. That's what that is. Right? Anybody start verse 12 over.
Verse 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord.
For everybody that does these things are an abomination to the Lord. Anybody that's celebrating Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving,
that's right,
Easter, anybody that's enchanting people to do so, anybody that's dealing with demons to do so, anybody that's trying to wake people from the dead, anybody that's trying to hustle you like a Christian pastor, right? Anybody's trying to do these things, right? Go ahead.
Come. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
And the Lord is going to drive you out from among us. You're not going to be in the kingdom. You're not going to be around to try to do that to anybody else. All right. And with that, we are the I.S.U.P.K. started out 1 West. We are the I.S.U.P.K. started at 1 West, Harlem, New York. Under commander, with that, we are the I.S.U.P.K. started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana, right? And we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth since 1969. And with that, I pass the class over to Officer Ayalawan. Ooh, Officer Ayalawan.
Yeah.
Right, Officer Ayalawan. You know what I mean?
The what, sir? So we got the I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York.
Uh-huh.
Rule for the new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.
Right.
There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, they will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Ma'ashara means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offerings for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Next up, we got the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. This is to take place on the 25th day of the 9th month for a space of 8 days. This year, it's going to go from Sunday the 28th, November 2021, for 8 days. Find this in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verses 52 through 61. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, that concludes the I.S.U.P.K. security announcements.
And with that, Amadju, which means to stand.
You got the Lord's Prayer? Oh, let's see that one.
It's right there, huh?
That was
Right there. Oh.
So we should have memorized by now. We got other prayers too. Let me see. Probably have.
It's not in here.
It's a lot of it. Give me a second. Let's see. I got it.
I got it too on my phone. I just couldn't find it.
Okay. I was looking at that. You got eliminated.
Got it.
Son Christ.
All right. We're going to SAR, turn the face. SAR, turn the face to east. All right. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer first in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah.
Shemka. Yahweh.
Malakutka.
Malakutka.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Ayah.
Aisha. Barataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathan Lanoa. Lacham. Khal. Yawam. Wasalakhlanoa. Kabawathanoa. Kasalakhlanoa. Kabawathanoa. Wala. Tabayai Abanasaya 1. Abal. Haushai now. Mayai. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'al. Wahata Pa'arath. La'ai Aman.
Now we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in English.
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the
And
power.
the
And the glory.
Forever so be it. All right, now we're going to start. Turn the face to front. Men of Israel, Mother Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah.
All right, we're going to turn and face our sisters. All right, Men of Israel, Mother Shabbat, Amajim, Barak,
Yahweh Shemar Ba'ashem Yahushua.
And with that, class dismissed.
Go Jack. Yeah, we'll keep these on. Yeah.
Ask you, did you have them? You said, yeah.
They was all, hey, I had them.
Yeah, I got them.
They were all over, man. Shoot. Shalom, Yashara. Be sure to keep it locked in right here for more powerful information. Y'all need to be tuning into these classes here. Yo, I don't know what this. Oh, so this joint just hangs. But when it's not, you just remove this part.
No, we gotta get something to hang.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Look, I keep it loyal to the T. U.P.K play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way, boy. Tell them get the fuck off the beach, boy. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black color jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black color jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black color jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat, boy. The shit is sweet. I'm on gold, but they don't believe. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming, Vinny, beach. And them devils screaming out, bloody murder. I'm on the cover curve. I'm on my grind, bitch, I'm working. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. When niggas weak, they be churching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. They cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with his knife. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas we eat. Men this bitch with the ice. Say, all y'all do the sweet. Tell y'all do the sweet. The nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the lead. He ain't one of us hit the lead. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All the niggas go retreat. I keep it loyal to the T. U.P.K play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my bitch, was in the field with it. You saw this cotton just an after Uncle Phil with it. And then my targets on the move, but I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Color Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we takes. We form up in ranks. We body bad this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit. I keep it on to the T. U.P.K play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. They come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat, boy.